Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce. In today's video, we're looking at our final trades for round 10. Can you believe it's round 10? Our tips for this week and who you guys should be picking as captains and vice captains. Stay tuned. Joe, round 10. I said it in my team review video for this week. It almost feels like half the season of the AFL is finished, mate. It's only round 10, but for us in Supercoach, like the final straggle, we're kind of in the middle and we're doing a marathon and it's where you get your water, right?
Yeah, I'm absolutely suffocating and I need all the water I can get at this point in time because shit's just getting worse as this season progresses. But hey, it's round 10, as you say. Hopefully a good Sunday game could can wipe all of my troubles away because right now the troubles just continue to mount up and we're going to talk about it in our trades.
Oh, mate, 100%. I might do my trades first because I think I'm pretty straightforward. Let me see if I can pull this up. This is my team for this week. And my trades are pretty easy. Not buys. I don't want buys. I want to do undo changes. So this week, I know I spoke about it in the other video. Hey, Cadman, shitting the bed. Time to start going. And Harley Reid's time to start going as well. I was pretty concerned last week about keeping Reid and keeping Cadman, and obviously it did burn me. Robert scored more. The person who I traded instead of Harley Reid scored more as well. So unlucky there. But both of these guys are going to lose money. And at this point in the game, you do not want guys who are losing money. So both of those are out. I've been wanting Zach Merritt forever. So I got Zach Merritt in, and then I think I might go Sullivan. I've got a little while to decide if I'm going to go Sullivan or Breville as a cheaper 102K option. We don't even know when the team sheet's coming out yet, so I might be forced that way to do it. But what that does for me is gives me basically a completed midfield. I'm hoping to throw Petrarca on as one of these picks later on as well, so we'll see how it goes there. But 5 in the back line done, plus Cohesi. Finish midfield there, 2 rucks, and then 2 finishes here. So after this week, I just need 5 trades, or sorry, 5 new players on field, and then we're done. So yeah, what do you reckon? Not too bad.
Very solid. Very, very solid. Well done. Your team's in a very good position. Obviously, you're fielding quite a few rookies in the forward line, but hey, if there is any position, if there's any position on the field where you're fielding more rookies, the forward line is the place to be at. Great, beautiful midfield. And then you got the news of Chera being out as well. Just adds even more for Walsh. Mate, the injury news are coming in beautifully for you at this point in time. So, well done. Your team is looking great.
I think Darcy Jones is probably the weakest person on field, and the 38 wasn't great. Big and new one, I don't think is ever going to come back, and Livingston's getting squashed by Sweet. So what I'm hoping to do is potentially even get rid of Jones next week as an option because I've got 160K left in the bank. So Jones plus that already is close to 400K. And then if I can get like 300K off the field somewhere, I can make a trade happen. So we'll see who that turns out to be. But that's kind of the plan at the moment.
Beautiful.
Let's check out your team, Joe.
Mate, my team. Look, we're not gonna spend an eternity on my team. My team is in a little bit of is a spot of bother. We obviously traded in McKercher last week. Thought that it was going to be a great play, and it was a great play. The kid scored 91, playing that wonderful role off half back, but unfortunately, stress fracture in his foot. He's going to miss some time. They haven't announced how much time he is going to miss, but there's absolutely no reason to rush him back, particularly with your buy coming up around the corner. So I think he's going to be missing at least 3 weeks. If it is anything like the injury that Errol Goulden had last year Errol Goulden also had a top of foot stress fracture. He missed 6 weeks, one of them being a bye round. So he missed 5 games and of course the bye. So I can't afford to be carrying that much cash on my field whilst also being injured. So McKercher, I think, has to go for me. It just means Fisher is who I had my eye on all week to come in. Thought he was going to be an absolute lock for me with Sheasel being moved out of the midfield. Zorko having an incredibly juicy run to come. in the next few weeks for halfbacks. Playing this week against Richmond at the Gabba is going to be way too juicy for him.
Mhm.
Now, in the process, I'm trading out Harry Sheezel. I was always planning on trading him out this week. The McKercher injury news does make things a little bit up in the air. Does Sheezel go back into halfback? When he's in that role, he performs really, really well. I'm rationalizing it with if he's going to play a halfback, he's going to cop Guelphy and not Fisher. You're not going to tag Zach Fisher. Zach Fisher, he's a spud, and there's absolutely no point putting any attention into him. He's not going to harm us. He's not going to cause us damage. Sheezel
Mm.
can cause us damage. So
Yeah.
if Sheezel continues to play in that less than ideal role up the ground, then the reasoning holds. If he decides to move to half back to cover McKercher for this week, he's gonna cop Matt Guelphy. So that's sort of the reasoning that I'm going with it. Another reason why I'm doing this is because I initially had Harley Reid in my trade plans, getting him out, but I don't want to field a less than ideal rookie. If I trade out Harley Reid as well as McKercher, then I won't be able to afford Fisher and Zorko in my team. And I want both of those guys right now.
Mm.
I will only be able to afford one, and the other player that I can get in would have to be a basement rookie. And I don't feel confident fielding a basement rookie in round 10. So for
I
me,
like
I'm
it.
just going with this route. I know it's very sidewaysy. It's the story of my life this year. You're not supposed to do it, but I've got to do something different. I'm already so far back behind the pack, and I really just want to make sure that I don't have any weak links on the field. Harley Reid, with the return, I'm rationalizing it with the return of Elliot Yeo in the coming week. Hopefully, we can see him bounce back to some really good scores. Harley Reid was performing really well with Yo in the team to support him. It was once Elliot Yo went out of the side that Harley Reid's points started to drop. So I'm willing to bet on this guy having a bounce back game. Even if he loses to me some cash this week, he still would have made me 200,000, and that is still a very successful starting pick. So he might be
Mm.
in the trade plans next week to get a ranking. And whilst I have less premiums than just about everybody else in the world, I'm hopefully making up for it in the points department in the forward line with less rookies there and really fielding some of the top liners. So look, it's been a tough season. I'm really low on trades. But I've learnt a lot along the way, and I'm looking forward to seeing this out all the way to the end. As you can see, I got Luke Ryan as my VC. Hopefully, for all the people who don't own him, he can absolutely drop a massive turd on your heads. And I need him. I need him to go bananas this week to cover
Luke,
this, to cover
Luke
the lack of
Ryan
premium.
third confirmed. Luke Ryan third confirmed apparently. And well, it's a
Exactly.
good segue. I know you love segues, and talking about captains is probably a really good way to jump into who we're going to pick for captains this week. So maybe
Correct.
we'll do tips first, and then we'll do captains. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll start with the first game. The Suns hosting the Cats. The Cats
Yep.
have rested a lot of people, a lot of senior experienced talent from their side, going up to Darwin to play in the slippery, dewy conditions that the Gold Coast Suns love to play in. For me, I am leaning with the Gold Coast Suns as a result.
Yeah, I think so as well. Wits, I think, is out, and there's definitely a few players in the AFL, well, in this game for Gold Coast that are out. But I don't know, man. Like Gold Coast, Geelong, Joe, so many old players. Like I just don't know what's going to happen to these old guys. So yeah, going Gold Coast for myself.
Yeah,
Tips are locked in. It's going to be an exciting game, and yeah, hopefully it's not as crappy conditions as what North Melbourne had to deal with last weekend.
probably be close to the same. You could, I honestly thought Matt Rowell was going to be a shoe-in to go bananas last
Mm.
week, but alas, it didn't happen. Doesn't mean that it won't happen this week. He's up against the Cats, who concede a lot of points to inside mids. We've seen what Zach Butters did to them last week as well. So Geelong struggling against inside mids. There they are in the green.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
this could be the week that we see a strong bounce back from Matt Rowell. I know he's named off centre half back, but don't believe it.
so
There's no
silly.
way. There's
As
no
if he's
way
going to
Matt
play
Rowell.
halfback. Yeah, Caleb
Exactly.
Daniel Ruck
So
all over again.
exactly. So maybe a Matt Rowell VC could be a sneaky one for you this week.
Yep.
Then move to the next game. The Swans hosting the Blues at the SCG. What do you reckon, Big J?
Oh, mate. Well, it makes me sad not being a Grundy owner because I know how good Grundy does just in the AFL. And then obviously last couple of games has been Sydney and Carlton don't have a great ruck. Freddie Grundy is going to go fantastic. I think I was going to say Sydney's my pick, but Carlton have a few good key forwards, and Sydney are missing a couple of key defenders. So I might tip Carlton this week. Maybe a bit of an upset.
Yeah.
But Carlton's been in red hot form, and if you can't stop Mackay and Kerno, I think you're in for a painful week. And I think is it McCartan's still out again?
He is
So
out.
yeah, it's a tough miss. I don't know if they've got the coverage in terms of the back line. That will probably be the big thing. Um,
Mm.
yeah, we'll see what happens. But Carlton's my pick this week. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Swans. I know Carlton's in good form, but it's hard. I mean, Sydney Swans are on top of the ladder for a reason. The only loss they
Yes.
had was that hiccup against Richmond somehow. I have no idea how that
Somehow.
happened. Absolutely bonkers. But they're the best team in it at the moment. You watch them play with ferocity, high pressure, as well as class on the outside to win the ball, cause a turnover, and they're rapid, quick with their ball movement. So look, I'm going to go with the Swans in this one. I'm going to go with the home side. I don't think anyone in this game is going to be someone that you're going to VCLC, though. Obviously, good news for Walsh with Chera being out of the side, but I still wouldn't VCLC him in this one.
Yeah.
Then move to the Crows coming across to Melbourne to play against Collingwood. I'm going to just go out right the bat and say the Pies win this one.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. Collingwood's kind of mid-season resurgence. We saw a little bit with Carlton last year when they started doing it, but 4 wins and a draw in the last 5 really says it all. Adelaide's a great team, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to win. And the punters say the same thing. Adelaide are $3.20, and Collingwood have 94% picked him in the tip.
Tipping.
So that's my team this week.
Yeah, I reckon maybe sneaky Dacos. If you haven't used a VC early so far, I reckon Dacos is probably your best bet. Dacos at the MCG just is. There's no sweeter combination than Dacos and MCG as a
Yep.
VC. So that's a sneaky
Yeah,
one
definitely.
there. Go to the
This game is
Giants.
going to be really tough. Like this
Yeah,
game is legitimately going to be really, really. I don't know if there's that many good tough games, but the Giants haven't been that great. Yes, they are playing at home, which definitely says something. But doggies, man, they can come out of nowhere and win anywhere. I've kind of gone the Giants in this game. I don't know if you're
yep,
going to be the same.
yep.
But yeah, it's going to be a good watch. One of the best ones of the weekend, I think.
Yeah, I'm going Giants. I expect a strong bounce back from them. They've had 2 disappointing weeks. They've lost against 2 top 4 teams in Sydney and the Bombers, so you can forgive them for playing against tough, very strong opposition. So and the Dogs can be so hit and miss. They're like a yo-yo. It's hard to back in the Bulldogs to be consistent week after week. So just on that basis, going to go with the Giants. And I'm not sure anyone you'd want to VC or see anybody in a what's going to be potentially a close game.
Yeah.
Saints hosting Frio at
Yeah.
Marvel Stadium. I'm going to go Frio.
Really? Okay. No, fair enough. I think I'm going to go there as well. St Kilda at home, though, are another beast. If their form was better, if they didn't just lose to Hawthorn and lose to a few other teams, I think maybe they'd be a better team. But someone was saying today, just Jack Steele in the midfield, I think, are going to come up against some tough opposition. Yes, they are
Yep.
playing at home, but it's not North Melbourne and Richmond and Hawthorn every week.
No.
So, yeah, I think Frio's the way to go for this game. Sarong could potentially be that. We'll have a proper run through, I guess, of all the captains. If not Sarong, there is a big L. Ryan, El Capitan, who might be a good VC option this week, or captaincy option, if you don't mind.
The Saints.
Yeah.
They give up the most to Luke Ryan out of everybody, and Luke Ryan in his career has got the highest average against the Saints out of everybody. It is a match made in heaven. The Saint Ryan is going to go absolutely bonkers. First of his name, chuck the VC on him and enjoy life to the fullest. Then move on to the Gabba. Brisbane hosting Richmond. It's impossible to tip Richmond with that injury list. You got to go with the Brisbane Lions, and you got to. I feel like trading Zorko in this week is just too good to pass up. If you can, if you
Yeah.
can't, so be it. You can maybe get him next week, but or maybe after his bye. But for me, I need to get him in. My team's in shambles, and I need to get points on field ASAP. So
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. I mean, like 2% of people have picked Richmond, and they're probably Skodfather and Swizz as the two Richmond uppies. So, you know, that's probably them. And not much to talk about. And not much to talk about this next game either, because North Melbourne versus, oh, it's going to be a slaughter. There's a reason why I picked Zach Merritt this week. That's all I'm going to say. Zach Merritt's in my team for a reason. He won't get tagged. He'll go bananas, hopefully. The punters know. $5 to $10.50. Like, Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm all over again. Just the odds there. And yes, Holly Holm did win, but I don't think Holly Holm's going to win this week, Joe.
you never know with the Bombers. You never know. We then moved to Adelaide Oval. Pretty confident that the Port get the job done here against Hawthorn. It's coming off a stirring win last week at GMHBA Stadium against the Cats. They now
Yep.
come back home to play against the Hawks. Could be a reality check for the young Hawks going over there. The Port up and about. Butters could be a great captaincy option to fall back on if you don't own a specific Melbourne ruckman.
Yes. Yeah, very true. And I don't know how many, we'll kind of go through an overview just after this of which captains exactly you guys should be considering. But yeah, there's not that many options. Like the Freo game gives us a lot. This one obviously gives us a lot as well. And as Joe says, a certain captaincy ruckman who shall not be named until like 5 seconds after this thing where he goes and probably is going to kick a few goals after the siren to win the game against West Coast. So we'll
It
see
won't
what
be that
happens
close. Come on,
there.
it
No,
won't
no,
be that
no,
close.
that's very
Jeez.
true. That's very true. Yeah, I've picked Port this week.
Yeah, Port and Melbourne. It's got to be. I
Yeah.
feel, and yeah, if you don't, if you don't own, what is it? If you don't own Max Gorn, you're going to be in for a sad time watching him just get hit out
Mhm.
after disposal after mark. Yeah, he's going to go bananas. If you have Ryan and you have Gorn, your decision is just so easy this week.
Yep, and that's exactly who I've got this week. So let's run up just from the start, Joe. Start from the start. We'll kind of go through each game. Gold Coast versus Geelong. If you have no one else, potentially a Tuke Miller at home or a Matt Rowell, but probably not. I don't think Stewart's going to score that well. Sydney, I know Brody Grundy does very well at home, and Carlton's ruck, aren't the best. So potentially there's something there, but I don't think anyone really from the Carlton side. There will be a few Sam Walshes, but I think it's a bit silly. Nick Dacos potentially vice captain, Joe.
Yep.
Anyone from Adelaide? No
No.
Adelaide's. Bontempelli's always a safe vice captain option, but GWS's midfield's not terrible, so he's going to get beaten up a little bit.
GWS, where are they? Yeah,
They're pretty even.
not
Yeah,
too bad. They're pretty good.
you
They're
could
pretty
go
good.
Tim English if you go back to that. Tim
Correct.
English would be a shout. Look at that. Plus
Yes.
2160. Yeah.
Correct.
English would be a good shout there. Heading down, we spoke about Caleb Sarong and then Luke Ryan as well as potential vice captaincy options. Brisbane versus Richmond. If you have a Josh Dunkley, mate, you're in for a laugh today. Even as Joe says, like a Zorko might be they give up a lot of points.
Richmond give up a lot of points to everybody. All right,
Exactly.
Just play it in simple. Anyone who's playing Richmond, if you have an Uber premium against them, just pick him as a sneaky VC or C. They'll pop off. Don't pick Zorko though; he might get subbed out and be managed at 3/4 time if they're up by 55 points.
No, don't say that, Joe. Now, if you've got no one else who's playing on Sunday, probably Zach Merritt's a fair shout. Harry Sheasel, depending on what his role is going to be on the day, because the ball's probably going to be in our back line every 5 minutes.
If he goes to the half back line, he's going to cop Matt Guelphy. So keep an eye out, Harry Sheasel.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. As Joe says, Butters with no Connor Rosie is probably a fair shout. I'm not sure if McGuinness is going to get named or go and tag him, but we'll see. And then basically every Melbourne player you've got, Oliver might even have a good week for once in the last 2 in the last 5. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see there. And then Max Corn, obviously, as captain.
And there you have it, guys. Those are our final trades. I say final. I'll probably be flip-flopping all over the place between now and the
Team
first
sheets will
game.
mean
So
a lot.
team sheets will obviously elucidate a lot. Maybe also hearing from Clarko or Harry Sheasel in relation to what sort of role they're going to play or not. So those are our trades. Those are our tips, and those are our VC and C options for each of those games. If you liked what you had to hear from us today, please drop us a like and a subscription. If you're new, hit that notification bell to not miss out on any of our videos and live streams every Monday at 7:30 and Thursday at 5:30.
Guys, if you haven't already, check out our latest video we've just dropped, the one just before this one, talking about a meet and greet that's going to happen this Sunday at the North versus Essendon game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to meet you guys, have some food beforehand, have some drinks, go over to the game, sit together in the stands and go, hey, my Supercoach players did well. Woo! It's going to be a lot of fun.
And laugh at me every time Sheasel gets the ball because I've traded him out.
Don't do that. Don't say that, Terry.
I know. Look, if you don't laugh, you cry, and I'd much rather be laughing than crying. So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope to see you all in the next one real soon.